In the middle of the Cold War, we managed to do the unthinkable and land on the moon. During a time of crisis and worldwide conflict, we made time to look up for answers and we discovered a new frontier. When Apollo 11 landed on the moon, we as a species became what our ancestors would have called gods. But Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins didn't see themselves as deities. They considered themselves men of Earth. They didn't know exactly what they would find, but they left a message written by President Nixon on a plaque that reads, "We come in peace for all mankind." This is the story of all those people they inspired to look to the heavens. Today, we stand on the brink of a new space era. With the landing of the Indian spacecraft on the moon and nations across the globe aiming for the stars, the spirit of exploration is alive and well. The new space race has begun, not driven by Cold War rivalries, but by a shared desire to explore, innovate, and understand. So strap in, we're headed for the stars. On October 3, 1942, in Nazi-occupied Germany, Wernher von Braun's V-2 rocket successfully becomes the first artificial object in space. 1947, Chuck Yeager breaks the sound barrier, and 10 years later, in 1957, the USSR successfully launches Sputnik 1, the first artificial satellite that marked the beginning of the space age. In 1961, 4 years after launching Sputnik, the USSR showed no signs of slowing down, as Yuri Gagarin became the first human in space. A little more than a year later, JFK gave a speech at Rice University.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills. Because that challenge is one that we're willing to accept.
And in 1967, the first Saturn V rocket was successfully launched. A year later, after doing a figure 8 around the moon, astronaut William Anders takes a familiar photo. 7 months later, Neil Armstrong takes a giant leap for mankind. With a budget less than a quarter of NASA, India became the 4th nation to successfully reach the lunar surface. With the drive to innovate, India did not follow all other previous lunar landings. Interested in finding water, they decided to land in a different, more treacherous region, the South Pole. Already hard at work, the rover has found the presence of sulfur. India, now positioned as the front-runner in the new space age, is ready to lead and show what's possible. There are more than 70 countries with active space programs reaching out and exploring space. Japan, working with NASA and the European Space Agency, have launched its satellite intended to study unknown phenomena throughout the cosmos, like near-light-speed particle jets launched by supermassive black holes. Earlier this year, the African Union established its own regional space agency. Last September, Saudi Arabia initiated an astronaut training program. Thailand is gearing up to send its exploration satellite into orbit later this year. The United Arab Emirates are currently analyzing data from their ongoing Mars mission probe and also have a project to launch a spacecraft aimed at exploring the asteroid belt. While it was unsuccessful, Russia launched its first lunar mission in 47 years earlier this year. Yet, this new space race isn't limited to just nations or governmental bodies. A 2021 report from Space Tech Analytics reveals that there are over 10,000 private companies exploring what's possible in space. Take SpaceX, for instance, which has clinched NASA contracts for astronaut transport. Then there's Virgin Galactic, focused entirely on space tourism. Another noteworthy company is Astrobotic Technology. Based in Pittsburgh, they charge a little more than $1 million per kilo to transport payloads to the moon. They recently secured a deal with the Mexican Space Agency, which aims to send 5 miniature robots to the moon. potentially making Mexico the first Latin American country to achieve a lunar landing. Spearheaded by NASA and signed by 28 countries, the Artemis Accords were founded in 2020. The Accords are designed to ensure that civil space activities are conducted in a manner that is safe, peaceful, and beneficial for all. Through the Artemis program, NASA plans to put the first woman and person of color on the moon, explore more of the lunar surface than ever before, and prepare for an outpost on the planet Mars. With nations and private companies pushing the boundaries of what's possible in space, the sharing of data is paramount. The Artemis Accord partners agree to release their scientific data publicly to ensure that the entire world can benefit from exploration and discovery. If you're interested in following up with any of the information in this video, I have links below. Be sure to check them out. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, hit the like button, and if you're a curious person, consider subscribing. Until next time, stay curious.